I'm always curious. Can I count on you to return the favor?
Always.
I studied when I was younger, and then I gave it up for a while. I've picked it up again recently, so it's all book learned. I'm following your lead here. This is your quest. I have things that I need to do that are not here, and I'm going to need help.
I understand.
Thank you, because I would not be alive if you had not. You saved my life, so thank you.
No problem.
Yesterday was really not great.
Yeah, well, we'll do better today, right?
Sure we will. You and I meeting and teaming up has been a good thing.
Oh, yes, very good. I know everyone else makes fun of your smell, but I don't smell nothing.
That's what I like about you. You see, the sun is coming up, but you can still see one or two up there. You see that one?
The stars?
That's a planet, that one. That's another place.
No, we're on the planet.
Pew 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 pew.
It is hard to believe, but I was able to do I danced the waltz and the tarantelle. It's been many years.
Well, you should show me sometime, because I want to see it.
I'm very much out of practice, and
You do it when nobody's watching, okay?
I can see you as a waltzer. That makes sense.
it does a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the waltz. Yeah, they taught me the same time I learned piano.
You are always the better dancer than me, Astrid. You are always so good.
Ooh, whiz, bang.
I'm sure Astrid loves you very much.
I knew it had to be done. In the middle of the night, placed it against the door to the home, and I set it on fire. Eventually, he wanted to test our allegiance, and so strangers were brought in, traitors. Disgusting people, traitors to this empire, and we killed them.
What?
Students?
He made you
We wanted,
executioners.
we wanted to be.
What are you hoping to find?
Anybody can make lights. Anybody could send a message through a wire. I want to bend reality to my will.
Caleb, no one wants that amount of power and responsibility.
Yeah, well, I told you why I am afraid of fire.
All right, I'll leave. I'll keep your secret. We'll keep all this a secret. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of, though.
Nope. You were right. I'm muted. Or was muted. Son of a bitch. What's up? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? We're so fucking behind today. Oh my god, today's been the worst. Today's been the worst. Today's been the worst. It's been the worst day. But we're on stream now, and so everything is better. I have until 4:30, which means I have 2 hours and 45 minutes. So how do we schedule this? I think go an hour and a half, take a 15-minute break, and then we go for another hour. Fuck was that? All right. Hey, Vale. Hey, Bodegazilla. How we doing today? How are you doing today? I mean, probably better than me. Way behind? But are you willing to make a deal? Are you in a bind, but you're way behind and you were willing to make a deal? Because from what I've heard, if that's the case, all you have to do is come upon a young man. Well, that's cool, Vale. I asked before because I didn't quite understand when you were talking about it yesterday. But what's the deal with the antibodies? What are these antibodies? Oh God, Bodegazilla. Man, young man. Oh, that's interesting, Vale. Oh, that. I mean, that sounds great. Awesome. Well, I really hope that goes well. When Kaita returned to her mountain homeland, hotly pursued by the Wonder, an Albert of the family Telfer, she Yes, she did not wish for Deetra. Oh, I totally understand the anxiety, Vale, and that sucks. Hey, gorgeous. You want to say hi to stream? Or do you want to keep being weird? Can I help you?
I stream. I'm a dork.
You are. Do you need me?
No, I just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
To stream. Who's here?
Vale and Bodegazilla.
Hey, Bodega Vale.
Vale Degazilla.
I like that one better.
So hot in here.
Well, I'm gonna leave you now.
Okay. Vale says, hello, how's your day going?
You know, I need more excitement. That's why I come here to mess with my husband. How's your day going, Vale? A pretty name, Vale.
Vale who fights cats.
A Vale who fights with a S. Cat. They fight them with an S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm leaving you.
Love
You're
you.
not into my antics today.
4:30. So I have to end off. Shoot, I was just doing some math when you came in. Oh,
Oh, you're so sweaty in here.
I know.
You know the kids aren't here. I'm gonna leave the door open.
Oh, that's a great idea. Holy shit, I can have the door open.
You're welcome.
What can I say except you're welcome? Oh, that's hilarious. Ah, it is Megan. Mrs. Garrett. No. She has her own chat command. Yes. The Meg. Jason Statham is. Jason Statham. You missed Meg. Okay. There is our rough edit there. That's good. So many books on my work desk. So many books. So many books on my work desk. Yoo-hoo! Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I'm out of paper. Of all the probably, but not definitively. Correct. I guess I'm gonna go get paper because I need paper. Cool. Gonna put the away screen up and go get fucking paper. I went to Staples today is what like blows my mind. I went to Staples for something else today and I did not realize I was low on paper. So, anyway, gonna go do that. I guess. Oh my god, today's the worst day. It just sucks. Here, hold on. I will be back with paper. See you in a few.
Figure it out in time.
Good night, Beauregard.
Shine bright, circus man.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Stop right there. Freeze. Megan got paper. Once again, my wife saves the day. You are incorrect, Vale. Like, at this point, is anybody surprised that my wife was the one who saved me? You might even call it the story of my wife. What's up, Darkheart? Good to see you. Where is my hole punch? You've heard of One Punch Man. Now get ready for 3-hole punch. The term necromancer is not trademarked, and it can't be. You can't trademark a name like wizard. You can trademark the phrase, the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I need to get a fucking air conditioner, guys. My neighbor, who is generally really like just awesome and helpful and smart about this sort of thing, is like, "Hey, have you checked Craigslist?" And I was like, "Huh?" It's like, "Yeah, you can just go to Craigslist. Like, people sell used air conditioners. You can get them for like $20. Sometimes you can get them for free." I was like, "No, I'll pay $20. I'll pay $60. You don't know how bad it is." He's like, "Yeah, just go to Craigslist." Just one of those things. Didn't really think of that. But is the word necromancer? The word necromancer isn't that old. But like we know it for sure. We know what am I trying to say? We know that Tolkien was using it in like the 50s, right? So like nobody has a trademark on that before Tolkien, you know? And he didn't trademark it. So like really? But like the actual word necromancer? No way. I mean, that's why when people are like, ever since Tolkien, everybody's just like writing Tolkien fanfic. And I'm like, bro, Tolkien wasn't even writing Tolkien. Tolkien was writing fanfic. He just did it really, really well. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, Darkheart. Oh, some of them definitely do. Yeah. I mean, so I'll say this in the in the right kind of agent agreement, you can't really be taken advantage of. Like, for one thing, you never pay an agent money. You never ever do that. You don't pay an agent money ever. Not ever, not once. They make you money and they take a cut of it. That's it. So like, and you know, and they take 10 to 15% depending on the agent. Yeah, 10 to 15%. Some agents do 10%, some do 15. And so if they're taking 15% off the back end, you know, it's like hard to be taken advantage of in that case. I have an agent and she doesn't have anything to do with my self-published stuff. Although once we're finished working, once if we sell the project that we're trying to sell right now, my next idea is to go to her and be like, "Yo, what about foreign rights for all of my books?" You know, Vale, my agent that I have right now, she is trying to sell a kids series that I wrote with a friend. We wrote it and like we did try self-publishing it, and it just didn't. It it takes too much. It would take too much focus away from Underrealm, and I don't want that. And two, um, it's just hard to self-publish and sell to kids. It's really, really difficult. But traditional publishers are really good at selling to kids, especially certain publishers. That's their whole business model. But then, yeah, after I sell this series, I have an old literary trunk novel that I'd love to bring to her and be like, hey, do you think we can do anything with this? But before that, I want to be like, yo, foreign rights. I have a lot of Underrealm books. How about we sell those foreign rights? My contract with my agent is indefinite, but I can end it at any time. Um, the only difference being that if I end my contract with my agent, I think there's a period. I think it's like I forget what it is, but it's like 3 months or 6 months or something like that. Um, where she still gets 15%, and that of course is in the contract to protect her. So I can't get like a publishing deal and then like okay, sweet, we're mailing you a check, and then I fire her. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a period where even if I like you know part ways with her, she still earns anything from I sell, and like I think it's like 6 months or something like that. It'd be real dumb, Bodegazzilla. Don't get a Lambo. Don't do that. It would not be really cool. Nobody respects the Lambo guy. Like, come on, you don't live in Hollywood anymore, bro. There's gonna be like one or two douchey wine barons up here who are gonna be like, "Hey, nice ride," and they're gonna be douche nozzles you don't want to be friends with anyway. You have a highly optimistic attitude towards the I-5, man. Nope, don't do it. Get yourself something sexy but sensible, like a Charger. Or a Mustang. Or I don't know, some sports car that, like, is nice and reliable. And not stupidly expensive. But this is one way I edit my stuff, Darkheart. I do several editing passes. I do an edit on the screen, and then I do an edit with red pen like this, and then I do an out loud read, and then I retype the whole thing at a later point. Before the retype edit, it goes to beta readers. I mean, I do more than 3, but, you know, whatever works for people. Copy editor and proofreader. I know one developmental editor that I love working with, but she's very expensive, and I want to be able to hire her in the future, but I can't right now. I have not ever worked with a line editor, but I would really like to. That would be my perfect world. I want to come up with an idea, run it by my developmental editor, write the first draft, run it by my developmental editor again, take her advice, send it to my line editor. Take her advice, you know, like go through her edits, send it. I want all that stuff because that would honestly save me a lot of work because I have to be my own developmental editor and line editor. You know what I mean? I don't know, Dustin. Although I have his book, I don't. That sounds bad. I know Dustin. I don't know Dustin as an editor, but that's cool. That's great. Sorry if you're out there, Dustin. I love you, man. Oh, which one do I have? I have Children of Atlas. Beneath the Black Crescent. I think that's it. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty and sticky. It's disgusting. Erica! Yo, yo! How are things? How's baby life? Damn, Erica. And the house is what? East Coast, you said? disappointing and incorrigible, distracting and offensive. No, I'm kidding. Happy for you two to be moving to fucking New York. I hope the deal doesn't fall through. No, I'm serious. I seriously hope the deal doesn't fall through. Wow, that's amazing. Mimic. Don't be a mimic, don't be a 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 mimic. Boy, that sundo. Evil. Ah, stop it. There we go. Ah, okay. How y'all doing? Bad gum. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people like Vellum a lot. Oh, I'm so jealous of you and your interior art. Okay, I've said it before, but this time I mean it. I think today we're finishing the bookshelf. Jim Butcher, Stormfront. Jesus Christ. $2,000. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. 2,000 should be over here, right? You're what? 2,000? Hamilton. Yep. There you go, Mr. Butcher. Your place has been reserved for you. Enjoy your stay on my bookshelf, please. Jim Butcher, Small Favor, a novel of the Dresden Files. 2008. This will be right around here. Yep, nailed it. I gotta say, I'm getting pretty good at recognizing where different years fall on my bookshelf. George R. Martin, A Feast for Crows. 2011. sense. What? $2005. Okay. Ha, ha, ha. That makes more sense. 2005 was the year of Twilight. Which means you, Mr. Martin, go here. Jim Butcher. Ghost Story. $2011. How dare you fall over? That's you. Butcher, that means you go here. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Oh shit, I totally forgot to start a timer. Ba 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 ba. Bruh, bruh, bruh. A.E. Van Voy. Wolf, Waf, Wachov, Wachem, Wolf, Wolhat. Wotze! The Weapon Makers. Copyright 43. It's an old book my dad gave me that he left a note inside of. 43. Here we are. I don't think we're going to finish today, y'all. 1970. 52. 68. There we go. Got it. Scott Richards, author buddy of mine. Hey, what's up? Not like Zim? 2014. So we're looking for Richards. Should be. Yeah. All right, new beer time, and then we get back into it. I'm pretty good, Zim. Yay for a day off from work. Nay to back issue. That blows. I'll be right back with a beer. Not for you, but, I mean, you know what I mean. Okay, it is time for the curtains to close. because fuck me, that sun. Oh, so dark. Hey. Jesus, it's so fucking hot. I mean, I feel like a bit of a broken record when I keep saying that, but like also I'm not getting an ice suit, Buddy Gazella. I'm getting a fucking air conditioner. But wait, Zim. I'm on the Titanic. Don't do it. Cross you out, I cross you out. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you in particular. You're cool, fuck you. We have no swear jar. Instead, we have a bad euphemism jar. When somebody uses a bad euphemism for penis, they put $1 in the jar. Don't say throbbing meat wand. Just say cock. Please, please just say cock. Well, then you get whatever's in the jar. Bodegazilla, put $1 in the jar right now. Right fucking now, Bodegazilla. Another $1, Bodegazilla. $4, Bodegazilla. I'm not muted. I have an expander on the microphone, so when I'm not making any noise, there's not a whole lot of room noise, and like quiet rustlings and stuff don't usually make it past the noise gate. Just for you, quiet rustlings are back. I have an in-progress world anvil that's publicly visible. I had. I'll pull it up later.
You closed the door.
Oh, yeah, thanks. It's instinct when I walk back
Oh my
in.
god, I'm gonna pass out. Why are
Yeah.
you using that fan?
Why aren't I using that fan?
Yeah.
What do you think that fan is doing right now? Are you turning the heat on?
No.
Yeah. Oh god, now the whole room's gonna smell like burnt. Heater.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
pick up the kids.
So you're leaving me.
Yeah. But I'll be back. It's not like I'm going to this corner store for a pack of cigarettes.
Good. Weird thing to mention.
Haven't you heard somebody leaves for a pack of cigarettes and never comes back?
Oh. Yeah.
Or, sorry, a carton of milk. Oh my god, it's so hot. It's hot in my room. My room. My room.
Got it.
Okay. Can I have some attention?
Uh-huh. You want attention?
No, you.
Okay. Ugh. Hi. I found some air conditioners.
Yeah? How
Yeah.
much are they?
Like $20.
And do they actually work?
Don't know. That's why you message them and you're like, hey, so I'm just gonna pop out with an extension cord, test it, and pay and be on my way. And if it doesn't work, they'll usually be like, you know, don't bother.
Are they near us?
They're within 30, 40 minutes.
Okay. Because you don't want people to think that we're doing something.
No, nobody can see anything. I don't want you to be suddenly soaked in my sweat.
Ah,
And you should appreciate that.
I do.
Do you?
I do. I just feel like this heat is affecting our love life. And I don't like that.
Me neither.
Because there's nothing more important than railing in.
Megan Robinson. Get out of my office. But Exil is trying badly to get your attention.
Oh, what's he want? Oh,
He's just saying hello.
hi. It's too hot to get up. I'm just kidding.
Looks like Erica has her house.
What?
Yeah?
House and a baby?
Yeah.
Wow. Does the house have a white picket fence?
Apparently the land is as big as a football field.
What? Where? Where is it? Is it in Los Angeles?
No, upstate New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's some serious awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly, upstate New York, we're definitely going to have to come visit. Especially to see the bebe. Can they see me? Am I too far
Nope.
away?
They can't see either of us.
Oh, okay.
That's what's on screen right now. Now they can see you.
No, they can't.
It has no fence, says Erica.
Well, with a football field of land, who needs fences?
Fences?
We don't
We
need
don't need
no
no
stinking
stinking
fences.
fences.
Okay. I better go.
Okay.
You
I'm
ever-
thinking about canceling Crafternoon. It's so hot.
Oh, yeah, the garage is going to be fun.
Yeah. And by fun, I mean awful.
You could do craft afternoon in the kitchen.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They are buying chickens and a goat. It has a creek at the end of the property.
Are you working from home now?
She's been working from home for a long time.
Maybe we go move in with her. We could start a commune.
Sure, let's move the family across the country. The kids would love that.
They have chickens and a goat. What else? No, just teasing. We don't want to move, but it sounds amazing.
Property line.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh,
I just told you that.
no, you said chickens and a goat.
No, God almighty.
It's hot. Okay?
Yes, it is. I'm trying to work, baby. I love
Okay.
you so much, and
We
you have
just never
such a.
get to be in this house by ourselves.
We just had that for a week.
But I miss it.
I understand, frankly. I like your butt.
Love you. Love you, Erica and Bode. Bodegazilla. Are we not allowed to say his real name on stream?
I don't know. I always say his screen name because otherwise people watch and get confused as fuck. Who the fuck is this person he's talking about? But like they can see his screen name. No. I don't want to live on the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, we like Oregon. We'd like to live around the globe on a small island called New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand?
All right, Eric. I figured. I think I've actually said it before. What? Does New Zealand have bad pizza? I mean, of all the reasons not to want to live somewhere, the quality of pizza is not.
question.
Yes, Babu.
Where is my headphones? You borrowed them.
I did not borrow them.
You did. You told me you were going to borrow them.
I said that I would like to borrow them and I could not find them.
Grazie.
I love you, though.
I love you.
Hey, you got a real good butt.
Yeah, you want to show me?
Do I want to show you your butt?
Show me how good it is.
That's awesome, Erica. Proud of you. Hey, done. Where my binder at? Where are you at, binder? Come here. Oh, God. You so fucking sweaty when you smile. I notice you also haven't been talking to Mitt Romney. Binders full of women? Anybody? Is that not topical anymore? Because that was like 6,000 years ago. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Ha! Ha! Oh yeah, that's right. That was an old season. My mistake. Fucking Christ. just fucking... Can we be cool? Thingy, and then thingy, and then thingy. Right? Don't save that shit. What are you thinking? Shit. Oh, that's what's taking you so long. My God. Okay, here we go. Of were-mages, their techniques and training. During the tumultuous days of the War of the Necromancer, several prominent were-mages were of great importance. Now that needs to be capitalized, doesn't it? Oh my god, finish. The War of He romances necks. What he does. God, I love that cover so fucking much. I am a necromancer. You might say I romance your neck. Sometimes I'm a little aggressive in my romance. Of were-mages, their techniques and training. Oh, right, I was fixing this. During the tumultuous days of the War of the Necromancer, several prominent were-mages were of great importance. There are many who would insist we call them therianthropes in the manner of the proper speech of the Academy and the nobility, but we shall here use the commoner's tongue for them, as well as for wizards of the other branches, for it renders greater understanding, and that is a nobler goal than lofty words. Excuse me. On the battlefield, a were-mage's impact could be great. As powerful animals or terrible hell-skinned beasts, they could lay waste to entire squadrons of troops, or in the case of a powerful few, entire armies. But more often and far more potently, they were instrumental in many clandestine matters. Across the 9 kingdoms and on all sides of the conflict, they collected information, scouted out enemy movements, and even assassinated powerful foes. After all, who could be better for such espionage than a wizard capable of assuming any form? Or at least so most of the common folk believed. But as we shall see, they were rather misinformed. To understand the many aspects of a were-mage's power, it is best to start at the beginning of their training. One of the first things a were-mage learns, whether from the academy or from a private tutor, is the creative transformation of their own body. Creative transformation is differentiated from acquired transformation, which shall be discussed in detail later. In creative transformation, imagination is paramount, but because imagination is the center of a were-mage's ability, they are incredibly versatile in some respects and heavily restricted in others. The subject of color is a good example. In the mirror branch of alchemy, an alchemist must have powerful focus and mental strength to change an object's color. That is because an alchemist transforms the actual minute particles that give an object its color, but for a were-mage, it is much easier to change the colors of their own body simply by thinking about it. This is in fact how young were-mages are tested for. The person administering the test only has to say to a child rather sharply, "I did not know you had green eyes," or some other color the child's eyes do not in fact possess. If the child is a were-mage, this will confuse them, and in their confusion they will imagine their own eyes being the stated color. This causes them to change for a few moments, and so the tester knows they have a were-mage on their hands. The first 2 years of were-magic training in the academy are entirely concerned with color. By the end of the second year, a were-mage is expected to be able to change the color of any part of their body at will into any color demanded of them by their instructor. And while it is not a requirement, especially talented students will often delight in creating all sorts of patterns across their bodies, changing the color of only parts of their skin, often delight in creating all sorts of patterns across their bodies so that they appear to have all sorts of artistic birthmarks or intricate tattoos or the like. But as a were-mage ventures into their third year, they study the technique of transforming the shape and material of their body. This is much more difficult. It always begins with the simplest transformation, assuming another Students are usually paired up and taught to acquire each other. Acquire is a term for learning another creature, memorizing the details and peculiarities of its form, and then practicing the transformation into the new shape until the instructors command them to form a small picture between their temples. This technique is the foundation of acquiring a new type of creature, and it is one the weremage will use for the rest of their life. And while a skilled and experienced weremage can usually acquire a new creature in a matter of a few dozen hours, for the first acquisition it usually takes the student months or even the entirety of their third year. As an aside, the acquiring technique is why mystic mages hunters are taught to disable weremages by striking hard at their temples. That part of the head is always a conduit for the weremage's magic, no matter what form they have assumed. 2 hard blows on either side disrupts the magic's flow and keeps the weremage from being able to maintain concentration on a false form, and this causes them to revert to their own. In any case, once they've acquired their target, the weremage will attempt a transformation. As one might expect, they usually have great initial success in changing colors to match the target, such as hair, eyes, and so forth. But they always struggle at first to change their size and shape to match their partner. Incorrectly done, changing one's shape can be incredibly painful. Not only must the weremage have a perfect image of the target, but they must also be able to envision a bridge, a transition between their current form and the new form. If they venture to change their shape before this is solid in their mind, then just as if they stepped out onto an unstable bridge in the physical world, they will plunge into a chasm of darkness. But these depths are composed of great pain as their limbs and flesh twist and snap in agonizing ways. Fortunately, such a botched transformation makes the weremage lose concentration. They will thus revert to their original form, hurt and shaken, but not permanently damaged. At the end of the process, and after many attempts, the student will finally have learned to acquire their study partner. This comprises the first entry in the weremage's canon. The canon is the list of all creatures the weremage has acquired and into which they may transform at will. Contrary to what many common folk believe, a weremage cannot simply turn into anything they want, but they are restricted. They're restricted to the creatures in their canon. Thus, in the Mystics or any other organization specializing in battle or espionage, a commander must select weremages for certain tasks based on their abilities. A weremage with no bird in their canon, for example, will never be an optimal long-distance messenger, and a weremage with no large, dangerous beast in their canon will be no great help on a battlefield. The first responsibility of a weremage in such a force is usually to make their entire canon known to their commander so that they may be utilized most effectively. And over the course of their lives, most weremages work to assemble as diverse a canon as possible, letting them cover a broad range of needs with the creatures they can transform into. But acquiring, as has been stated, is a long and difficult process. As with all the branches of magic, it gets easier and easier the more often one does it. And of course, a weremage's innate skill and experience are also factors in the process. But this is only relative, and even a very seasoned weremage must still spend weeks studying a new species of creature to acquire them. Such study can of course be broken up, but weremages try not to do so. The more intensive the study, the more quickly the weremage can acquire the creature. Therefore, even in the best possible case, acquiring a creature becomes very difficult if the target is dangerous, as is the case with bears, lions, or other large animals, and even for venomous beasts such as vipers. The weremage must spend a great deal of time in physical contact with the creature in order to acquire it. This usually requires This usually means the target must be sedated or otherwise pacified, which can be both costly and difficult. The Academy maintains a menagerie of such beasts for their students to take advantage of, and the maintenance and upkeep of this facility is one of the school's greatest single expenses. Meanwhile, trained weremages from wealthy or noble families will often use their family's resources and influence to acquire more exotic animals, and each one added to their canon is a point of pride. Once a creature has been acquired, other creatures of the same type are far easier to learn. And do not even require physical contact. If the weremage has acquired one bear, for example, and they can study another bear sufficiently and meditate on it long enough, they will eventually be able to effect a transformation that passes all but the most intimate inspection. All but the most detailed inspection. This is, to some degree, a merging of creative transformation and acquired transformation. Speaking of creative transformation, weremages are also able to apply this to any creature in their canon. This allows them to alter the coloring, shape, and sometimes even the substance of any acquired creature. There are many useful applications of such technique. For example, weremages who specialize in combat will often increase the size, stature, and resilience of their favored battlefield forms. For example, Instructor Gia from the Academy favored the shape of a bear, but she increased its size until it stood twice as tall as an adult human, and she could turn its claws to steel so that they could turn enemy blades in battle. But by far the most common use of creative transformation is the assumption of a false identity. This is a talent shared almost universally by weremages across Underrealm, though some specialize in it almost exclusively, such as many spies among the mystics or the weremage Auntie in the city of Cabris. As has been said, a weremage must study and acquire another person in order to add humans to their canon, but once the first human has been acquired, creative transformation may be applied to the form in order to assume virtually any shape. It is best if a weremage can study a target in order to learn their habits and mannerisms, and thus form a more complete mental picture of the person. But if the weremage is very skilled, even an hour's study can be enough for a transformation that would fool all but close friends or family. In Lan Shui, for example, Kaita was able to acquire the form of the boy Pontu after meeting him only a few brief times. And of course, much has been written elsewhere of the weremage Auntie, who acquired the shapes of not only Lauren of the family Nelda, but many mystics who accompanied her and who then used these forms to terrible effect. When creative transformation is applied to acquired forms, it is sometimes referred to as modified transformation. This is a discrete subject of study, with most scholars being particularly interested in the limitations of modification. A common example for beginning students in this field is the problem of the blue jay and the cardinal. Imagine that a weremage has acquired a blue jay. Then the weremage sets about modifying the transformation. First, they turn all their feathers red. That is a simple modification, and a casual observer might then mistake the modified blue jay for a cardinal. But anyone very familiar with birds would recognize the incorrect shape and size of the beak, the claws, and the overall build. The weremage might then try to modify the transformation further, compensating for these defects, but this would require an almost impossible level of concentration and focus. This extreme of power can become dangerous in some cases. Like all magic, a weremage's transformation requires concentration to maintain. The more a transformation is modified, the more concentration is required. If the weremage were distracted even slightly while flying in the modified form, they might suddenly revert back to their native human form and find themselves plummeting towards the ground from a dozen paces or more in the air. The study of this property of weremagic has given the Academia of Underrealm a great preoccupation with taxonomy, which as a result is far more codified than many, which as a result is a far more codified field than many other scientific pursuits. The concept of species differentiation, for example, is quite exactly understood and constantly studied. It is well known that an animal may be easily modified within its own species, but it requires great effort to modify it to mimic another species entirely. This lends us further understanding of the fact that weremages are able to assume other human forms so easily, since all humans are, of course, the same species. This particular detail is a greater problem to the wealthy and powerful of Underrealm than it is to the common folk. Impersonation of some wealthy merchant could be used to disastrous effect, at least as far as the merchant's coffers are concerned. A mimicked noble, or even a king, could start a war, though of course only a particularly foolish or desperate weremage would impersonate a king. If such a scheme were ever discovered, they would suffer a long, slow death at mystic hands, the same penalty leveled at any wizard attempting to sit a throne. This is one reason that lords, monarchs, and other powerful figures of the Nine Kingdoms, particularly the High King herself, do their best to stay removed from all but their closest family and advisors. If a weremage cannot spend enough time with them to study their appearance, it becomes quite difficult to mimic them effectively. As an extra precaution, most among the nobility, particularly kings, scarify or tattoo themselves with a distinguishing mark in a hidden place. Only a very small circle of trusted allies, always kept close by, are allowed to know of the mark's location and shape. A weremage would not, of course, know to create the mark. Therefore, even if they were otherwise able to assume the noble's form, the noble's inner circle would be able to quickly uncover the ploy. The last subject of high import that should be discussed here is a weremage's transition from one form to another without first reverting to their natural human form. This is a very powerful and difficult technique, and not every weremage is able to learn it. When acquiring a creature, the weremage must envision a bridge between their body and the desired form. The same thing must be done to turn from one form to another. They must envision and then craft in their mind a bridge from the first form to the second. This requires immense concentration, focus, and also an exacting knowledge of both animal forms. For Kaita to turn from a raven to a lion, she had to know both creatures' bodies and as as much detail as she knew her own. The bird and the cat undergoing many failed and painful transformations as she learned, and the same bridge that took her, for example, from the raven to the lion would not let her turn from the raven to a serpent. Another bridge would have to be constructed. In truth, Kaita was a highly accomplished weremage and one of the greatest of her age. It is a shame that she was never allowed to feel that way, neither by Thada of the family Telfer, the Rangatira who scorned her, nor by Mag, who defeated her again and again, no matter the strength of her animal forms. Had Kaita ever been allowed to see just how powerful and valuable she was, one must wonder if she might not have turned to evil. Of Kaita and the land of Tokana. Just you wait. Of Kaita and the land of Tokana. There are two other important details concerning Kaita and her time in the mountainous region of Tokana, and they are worth discussing here. When Kaita returned to her mountain homeland, hotly pursued by the Wanderer and Albern of the family Telfer, she became busily engaged in the activities of her fellow Shades. For the most part, this consisted of covert action to further stoke ire between the Rangatira and the Trolls, and this required a great deal of speedy travel through the peaks. If it was possible, Kaita would of course take her raven form, but sometimes she had to remain grounded, and then she would use her mountain lion. When she did, she usually modified her transformation to hide the white tail of the lion she held in her cannon. She did this because she had no wish for Ditra, the Rangatira, to hear of a lion with a white tail. Ditra would, of course, recognize the form at once, and she would know that Kaita had returned. Kaita feared that Ditra would be wrathful, and she would expend great effort to track Kaita down. Albert and Mag, however, had already seen Kaita's lion in its natural form, including the white tail. They passed this information to Ditra, who received it much differently than Kaita thought she would. Not only did she keep the information from Mag and Albert, but she withheld it from even her most trusted advisors. She also assigned Maya, her lead ranger, to hunt for the weremage in secret. This greatly hampered the efforts of not only Maya, but Albert and Mag, and was a tremendous boon to Kaita if she was thwarted in the end. The second interesting detail is the answer to a mystery that long plagued Albern. How did Kaita acquire her troll form in which she named herself Katak? It is exceptionally rare for any weremage to acquire the shape of any of Underrealm's other sentient races, whether troll, satyr, imp, wert, or what have you. There are old laws of the High King, nearly as old as Underrealm itself, that forbid the capture or enslavement of any of these creatures, which are sometimes referred to as the awakened folk collectively. Those who break this law may be put to death, along with any accomplices and even any who knew of the violation but said nothing. It is not quite so strict as the King's harshest law, but it is not far off either. And without the creature being so restrained, it is impossible to spend the necessary time in contact with them to acquire them. Mysteriously, this law is one that the Shades also obey, just as they obeyed the ancient edicts protecting the Guild of Lovers, which saved Dryleaf's life in the hills north of the Greenfrost. And so indeed, it was not by unscrupulous means that Kaita acquired her troll form. When she fled Tokana in her youth, driven out by Albern's mother, the Rangatira, Kaita spent a while in the wilderness. She was a ranger, after all. Living off the land was as easy as city or town, and more so when her magic made it a simple matter to hunt for food. For some weeks she was alone. Now this was deep in troll territory, but the trolls there were not numerous, and it was easy to avoid them. But after some time she did encounter a troll, an elderly female named Sukar. At first, Sukar behaved aggressively towards Kaita, but it happened that they met when Kaita was at her lowest point. She had given up any hope of recovering the life she had fled. She had been abandoned by her lover, Ditra, and disgraced in the eyes of her lord. Life seemed to have little purpose, and for days she had toyed with the idea of ending it. Therefore, when Sukar made as if to attack Kaita, Kaita did nothing. She stood there, her eyes dead as if in Mag's battle trance, and waited for the troll's great fists to smash her into a pulp. And that is nearly what happened. But at the last second, Sukar stopped. She stared at Kaita in confusion and irritation. Why should this puny human not flee, or cower, or try hopelessly to fight? And because Sukar knew a little of the common tongue of Underrealm, she was able to give voice to her frustration. "Why do you stand there?" she snarled. "Do you think I will not crush you?" Kaita looked up into her eyes and said quietly, "In fact, I hope you will." It was one of the few things she could have said that would spare her life. Sukar was an old troll at that time, but many years ago she had had a child, and that child had died after sneaking away from her and stumbling off a high cliff. For a long time afterwards, Sukar had been utterly listless. She would never have taken her own life, but she had often wanted something else to come along and end it, to end her pain and her sense of deep mortal failure. That feeling was still familiar to her so many years later, and she saw it shining in Kaita's eyes now. Her ears flapped in sympathy. Slowly, she lowered her boulder-sized fists, and she sat on her haunches in front of Kaita. Sukar's pack had helped her survive the worst pain she had ever known, but this tiny human had no one. And in that moment, Sukar resolved that she would be Kaita's pack as long as she required one. From that time on, she visited Kaita every day. She saw to it that Kaita had plenty to eat, and she did what she could to keep the area clear of predators that might threaten her. But for the most part, she spent time with Kaita, and she listened. And Kaita spoke, at first in a lifeless monotone, and then with tears, and then with increasing anger, of the wrongs done to her by Thada and the other humans of Tucana. Many of these matters were far beyond Sukar's understanding, but that does not always matter. Sometimes one needs simply listen and share in another's grief. And so for many months these two forged a deeper and deeper friendship, a tiny pack of two that treated each other like family. It was in that time that Kaita learned the troll tongue, which few humans have ever learned, and in exchange she taught Sukar to speak the human tongue with much greater skill. And in time there came to be enough trust between the two of them that Sukar let Kaita acquire her form. Useful, she growled, if you ever run into others of my kind out here in the mountains. Of course, if she ever encountered a troll, Kaita could just as easily turn into a bird and flee, but she knew how rare it was for a weremage to have this chance, and she would hardly refuse. Over the course of weeks, Kaita took Sukar's shape into her cannon, and she was able to become a troll whenever she desired. After some months of this life, Kaita found herself growing restless. She had shed the desire for her own life to end, and now she wanted to go about building a new future. She did not know what such a future held, but she knew it was not to spend the rest of her days as a mountain witch alone but for Sukar. Yet at the same time, she had no desire to leave the old troll behind. Sukar was not closely associated with any pack, and if Kaita left, it would rob her of the last small semblance of family she had left. But Sukar eventually became aware of Kaita's hesitance, and she urged her to go. You are meant to live your life, she said, when she and Kaita at last spoke openly of the matter. This was part of it, but there is more to come, and if you sit here waiting until I have died, you will grow as gray and knobbly as the stones of the hills. Kaita laughed at that, though the humor was bittersweet, and so she made ready to set forth from the mountains, and in time she left them. It was not long before the shades found her, and the Lord lured her to his side with promises of power and purpose and revenge against those who had cast her out. Many years later, Kaita returned to Tucana to further the Lord's intentions there. She went south at once to go and visit Sukar. Unfortunately, the old troll had passed away some years before. From that time on, whenever Kaita wore Sukar's form, she thought of it as honoring her memory, and she modified the transformation so that Sukar was young again and hale and hearty, the best version of the old troll that Kaita could imagine. But the truth, which Kaita would never have been able to accept, was that Sukar's best days were those she spent with the weremage, alone together deep in the mountains. The Legend of Meldon. Listen now, child, to a tale of Meldon the dragon, who lived thousands of years before Underrealm was first named. In the time, before even the beginning of our world, before even the beginning of our world. When the sky had not yet given humanity life upon the face of the earth, the dragon mother laid 5 eggs. The sun sang at their arrival, and the darkness at the edge of the world cowered in fear before them. For in these 5 eggs were instilled the essences that would make possible the creation of all other creatures to live under the moons, and woven into their shells were threads of fate. The first and greatest of the eggs held the essence of fire, the second water, the third earth, the fourth the wind, and the fifth held the love of all living beings for each other and for themselves. And all the dragons knew that one day the sky would take these essences and weave from them all the creatures that flew within itself and crawled beneath itself and swam to hide from itself, as well as all the plants that would grow and flourish in the light of its sun. And never had these essences been glimpsed before in all the wide world, and the dragons wondered to see them glowing within the veins and texture of the egg shells. And one by one the dragons came to visit the eggs and to bow before them, paying respect and swearing fealty to these, the mightiest gifts bestowed upon them by the sky. And every dragon loved the eggs, and they longed for the day when they would hatch and make possible the small creatures that would fill the earth with life and movement and joy. And every dragon bent all their thought and wove threads of fate to see to the eggs' safety and protect them from all harm and all evil. But one dragon among their number hated the eggs, and her name was Yendil. Yendil was jealous of the eggs and their power. Especially she hated and yet desired the essence of flame that shone in the first egg. The other dragons spoke about the flame would burn and twist. Hey, thanks for the follow, Mokaba. Other dragons spoke of how the flame would burn and twist everything before it, and yet when it had destroyed all it had touched, it would bring also the gift of life, turning destruction into rebirth. And Yendel desired this power, and she coveted the egg that held the essence of fire, and she desired to control the flame for herself. Yet with all the dragons protecting the eggs and weaving threads of fate about them to protect them, Yendel could not destroy any of them, nor could she affect more than one. But by bending all her thought and intent and weaving every string of fate at her command, Yendel stole one of the eggs. She stole it when the dragons were bowed in worship of them, and she fled with the egg clutched in her claws, and it was the egg that held the essence of flame. Then the dragons wailed and gnashed their teeth, and those who had been set to guard the eggs quaked in fear, and the other dragons fell upon them, and they were devoured. And then the dragons who remained saw that Yendel was missing from their number, and they knew it was she who had stolen the egg that held the essence of fire. And they searched all of existence for the missing egg, and they never tired in their hunt. But Yendel hid herself from them, and she entwined her own threads of fate with those that had been used to protect the egg, so that the same woven fate that protected the egg from destruction also protected it from discovery. And she entwined the weave of her own fate with the egg that held the fire essence, so that she could not be destroyed unless the egg itself was also destroyed. Thus Yendel hid with her stolen egg until all the 5 eggs hatched on the same day, and then for 5 years more she hid, keeping prisoner the fire dragon that had emerged from the egg, and she forced it to use its flames to burn everything Yendel hated, which was everything in creation, which at that time was all iron and steel, lifeless and hard. And the dragon's flame spread, and it melted the world, and the sky knew that the flame dragon had been born from the egg. And the dragons knew it as well, but still they could not find the missing whelp, for they could not find Yendel through the shroud of her fate. As the flame dragon grew older, he was always in misery and in pain, for Yendel was a terrible taskmaster. Yendel named him Meldon, and he was her slave, and she made him use his flame over and over again, though Meldon wept to destroy the beautiful landscapes of creation that lay before his sight. At last, after 5 years, all the dragons were grown, and the 4 dragons who remained free gathered to each other. The dragon of the second egg was called Harish, and the essence of water was hers, and the dragon of the third egg was called Yorprax, and the essence of earth was his, and the dragon of the 4th egg was called Yarlos, and the essence of wind was his, but the dragon of the 5th egg had no name, for she would not claim one until her brother was found, and the essence of love was hers. As they gathered together, Harish said to them, "Now we are grown, and we are ready to bring life to all of creation beneath the sky." And Yorprax said to them, "But we cannot, for still our brother is missing, and without his flame we cannot give life to all the things that will fly and crawl and swim." And Yarlos said to them, "Then let us go and find our brother, for we who are his kin shall find him, no matter where Yendel may hide him." But the 5th dragon said nothing, and only wept for Meldon, for in her was the essence of love, and that is a cousin to grief. The 4 dragons thus set out into the world, and they could sense Meldon through all the weave of fate that Yendel had wrapped about him. For the fate that bound the 5 of them was stronger, and had connected them since first they were laid, and Yendel could not hide it from their sight. And the 4 young dragons found themselves at the mouth of a cave, and they knew it held their brother as well as his captor, and so they entered it. There they found Yendel lurking, and she was ready to meet them, for she had heard their approach. And there, too, they found Meldon, and he was trapped in a cage all of star steel, the strongest of metals, and his flame could not melt it. "Turn and flee," said Yendel. "This young one is mine, and his gift of flame also." And Yarlo said to her, "Ugh! He belongs to no one unless it is to us by the bonds of the nest." And Yorprax said to her, "You cannot hide him from us, nor can you keep him from us." And Harish said to her, "We shall not flee from you, nor can you escape our wrath." But the 5th dragon said nothing, and her grief had turned hot and furious, for in her was love, and that is a cousin to wrath. And Harish, Yorprax, and Yarlos did battle with Yendel, but they were not strong enough to defeat her, for they were still young and untested, and Yendel was ancient and large and cunning, and they thought they would fall before Yendel, and she would slay them and devour them, taking their essence for herself. But the 5th dragon did not fight Yendel. The essence of love was hers, and so she thought only of Meldon. And while her siblings battled Yendel, she tore at the cage of star steel to free her brother. And though Mendel's flames had not been hot enough to melt the star steel, the 5th dragon was able to tear them asunder with her claws, and she tore at the weave of Yendel's fate, which had been combined with Meldon's, and separated them so that their survival was no longer linked. And this was a mighty deed, for no dragon before her had yet been able to separate strands of fate once they were woven together. But the essence of love was hers, and that is a cousin to strength. Thus the 5 dragons were united again, and together their strength was greater than Yendel's, and she was defeated and was torn asunder and devoured, and now Meldon was free, and the 5 of them gave a great cry of exultation, and such was their joy that it reached every corner of creation, and every dragon heard it, and they joined their voices to the chorus. And then the 5th dragon looked at her siblings, and she said to them, "I have never had a name, for Meldon was gone from us, but now that we are united once more, I shall take my name at last, and it shall be Rowan." And together the 5 dragons made the long journey home. Yay. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-ba. Okay. Selection. Good, yes. Okay. Gonna double check that the formatting looks like we want it to look. Answer the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, good man. Open the fuck up! Actually, you know what? We can just probably look here. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Burr, your grievance is legitimate. I stand by what I said, every bit of it. What's up, Mocaba? Yep, I do indeed stream to both Twitch and the Tube. Careful how you proceed, good man. Intemperate indeed, good man. Answer the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, good man. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A.Ham, A.Burr. Okay, and we make the new post. Und. Wanderer, Volume 1, Addendum A. Okay. And we schedule you for Friday. What time do we normally do these? 10, right? 10? 11. 11 a.m. Sweet. Okay, one down. And that is going to be it for me today, stream. I gots to go. Okay. Who am I gonna raid? Who am I raiding? Who am I raiding today? Oh, hey. My friend Rachel is streaming. Let's raid Rachel. Rachel goes by the Junie Bird. So say hi to her. She's cool. Looks like she's doing some music. I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we will try to bang out Addendum B. Oh, hold on, I gotta mark my time. How long did this take us? Huh. Well, Addendum A took us exactly 9 hours, so that's kind of convenient. I'm going to mark that down. So it'll probably take us 2 days to do Addendum B. Addendum B might be fast. Addendum B might be slower. We're going to find out together. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Good to see you as always. I will catch you next time. Bye!